But is there a person that you're looking at?
I had my eye on Mike Perry. Me and you were meant to fight.
That's a hell of a fight in the making, but he's matched up with Conor.
I asked for the fight. You're matched against Santiago.
Hello, I'm Cavassier, the goddamn newt. Ooh-wee, good things happen when fighters take risks. Over the weekend in Gdansk, Poland, Donald Cowboy Cerrone put it on the line against undefeated and rising prospect Darren Till. The uber-confident 24-year-old delivered on his pre-fight boasts by ending Cerrone's night in the first round. The previously unranked Till calls himself the greatest fighter in the world and expects to headline the UFC's first trip to Liverpool, England in his next fight. The Darren Till bandwagon has grown exponentially. Some suggest Till is the future at welterweight, including the boss, Dana White. Mike Perry happened to be in the neighborhood on the night in Poland. He offered a chain-linked rebuttal through clenched teeth. Is the UFC taking a page out of the Conor Macgregor playbook? Seems like they're focused on creating opportunities for fighters who resonate with the fan base organically, especially if they take risks to inflict their will inside the octagon. Till's behavior during the ref's instructions looked off to some.
Okay, gentlemen, you understand the rules of fighting and you're listing it at all times to keep yourself protected. When I say stop, you stop. You want to touch gloves, do it now. Let's do this.
Several people in the media suggested this was a display of Till's confidence. ESPN's Brett Okamoto went so far as to assert that Till was big brothering Cerrone.
This jumped out to me as I was watching the fight. He hugged Cerrone before the fight started. It was almost like he was big brothering him. It's like, hey bud, nice to see you, glad you made it here. He's like patting him on the shoulder, almost apologetically of what I'm about to do to you.
Wrong. This isn't Till showing dominance. He's not trying to intimidate Cowboy, and he's certainly not consoling Cerrone. Till is trying to reenact the buddy moment he had with Cerrone at the ceremonial weigh-in. You can see the pat on the arm he got from Donald, and he just wants to give it back. He probably did want to hug Cowboy too. Darren Till sees his opponent as a partner of sorts. They not only share the cage, but often share a level of physical and mental privation that's impossible for anyone else to understand. This type of fighter needs a certain level of camaraderie or mutual respect from their opponent, or they feel isolated and have to bear the entire burden alone, which hurts their performance.
Let's go, brother. Let's show this friends a show. Let's make a show.
It's why some fighters high-five after a big exchange and will often mirror each other. You can see Darren Till treat his opponents like a dance partner in many of his fights. Cowboy accommodated Till through the build-up, but here Cerrone's behavior is emotionally distant and self-contained. Till needs a positive emotional response from Cowboy. He needs a dance partner to share the task ahead. And finally, he coaxes it from Cerrone. Till isn't likely to get this kind of response from the killers at the top of the welterweight division. Do you think Condit, Masvidal, or Woodley are going to play the buddy game with Till? Doubtful. The fight played out perfect for Till, a measured pace from the start and never much of a threat from Cowboy. With a minute left in the first, Till lands an elbow that breaks Cowboy's nose, along with it, his will to fight. Till follows up with a few clean punches, but the outcome is no longer in doubt as Cerrone turtles up looking for the exit. It was good to see the finishing instinct from Till. It's hard to know how much the UFC influenced Till's call-out of Mike Perry. For sure, the UFC paid Mike Perry to be in Poland for fight week. Was it simply late replacement insurance, or was there a longer promotional game being played here? Well done if this was part of the UFC's plan. Once you let these two off their leash, things get real awful quick. Shortly after his cage-side exchange with Till, Mike Perry is bustled into a live interview with Gooden and Hardy. From From their goofy smirks to start, you get the sense they both thought they were going to get a shit-eating wild man interview from Perry. Instead, he composes himself to play the role of serious analyst, which befuddles the British duo.
I'm ready to fight right now, man. I wish I could have gotten that cage with him in that octagon, but...
Mike corrects himself, saying octagon instead of cage, which is an important branding element for the UFC. On some level, Mike is cognizant of representing the UFC in this moment as well as himself.
It doesn't work like that, so we got to be professionals about this, and we got to sign the paperwork, and we're going to make it happen. I'm pretty sure that it's going to go down.
We can forgive Mike's body movement. He's swaying hither and yon to help dissipate excess energy just moments after his cage-side kerfuffle with Till. Perry is a man who takes his pretext of violence very seriously.
I had my eye on Mike Perry.
Remember, Till called him out in front of God and man. In the world Perry comes from, this challenge must be answered without reservation. Anything less is cowardice, which puts you fully on the outside against the in-group.
What were your thoughts on that performance? You come into England to face him, and that'd be really...
His opponent as well, I know the fans appreciate.
Dan Hardy takes liberties with Perry's personal space. Hardy did an interview with Perry earlier in the week, so there may be a sense of familiarity. Perry has no reaction to being touched, not threatened, and not charmed.
What were your thoughts on that performance? I mean, we all respect Cowboy very highly, but Darren Till, you've got to admit he looked good tonight.
There are some rich nonverbals to the question. Perry turns and cocks his head away from Hardy, narrows his eyes straight into the camera, which is an intense but sincere gesture, then runs his tongue around the inside of his mouth, just as Hardy mentions, "We all respect Cowboy." It's a self-soothing gesture. Perry wants to speak in a more calmed, measured way. Hardy doesn't hide his feelings about Till while calling his fights, but it's a bit much to ask Mike Perry to rise to his level of enthusiasm for Darren Till.
Yeah, he looked good against Donald Cerrone, not against the Cowboy.
As soon as Perry begins to articulate the distinction between Donald and Cowboy, Hardy loses the fanboy smile. Gooden turns to the camera, then a quick sideways glance to Hardy, whereupon Hardy gives the camera a sideways glance. These two can act like Mike Perry is talking crazy, but he's actually providing reasonable criticism and balance to the analysis, something professional broadcasters typically do.
Darren didn't get a tough fighter tonight. He got someone who gave up in the first round, but that's definitely not the case. You know that that's not what we're going to see with me.
Gooden gives the eyebrow raise to his partner when Perry points out that Cerrone gave up in the first round. Perry isn't saying anything that most fight fans don't already know. For whatever reason, Cowboy will give up early in certain fights. Perhaps Gooden and Hardy wanted a coronation, but Perry makes some good points here.
I really look forward to fighting that boy Darren Till in England. What's up? In his hometown, I want to knock that boy out.
Dan Hardy almost seems to antagonize Perry here.
Yeah, so you come into England to face him, and that'd be really fun to watch.
He dials it back quickly, and Perry doesn't react.
I'm ready to take that O from that boy. He went fishing for bass, and he caught a shark. Be careful what you wish for.
Love him or not, that's a great line from Mike Perry. The kind of thing that plays well in a promo. 170 has long been my favorite division, but I get the feeling we're entering a golden era that could create a new crop of stars and elevate the champ who beats them to superstardom. Well, that's how I see it. Darren Till did what he needed to do. He beat a well-respected and highly ranked Cowboy Cerrone, and he did it with style. Now it's up to the rest of the division to impress. Masvidal versus Wonderboy at UFC 217, Dos Anjos and Lawler, Magny and Condit, and Perry versus Ponzinibbio all before the end of the year. Throw in Usman and Covington, and you've got a lot of interesting names to potentially challenge Woodley for the belt. Thanks for watching. If you like it, and don't forget to subscribe. It means a lot. Leave your comments and questions below in the comment section or over on the Twitters. And remember, this isn't supposed to be easy.